Welcome, family. Now, I'm Lullaby, and I'm here to tell you a story. Now, most of the story you can see play out for yourself, but the beginning of our story, well, let's just say Lasombra got a little too close to it, and well, that recording is gone forever. But that's all right. I'm here to tell you what happened, so you know what's to expect and what transpired leading up to the events that you'll see for yourself. Things started way back in the 1990s. New York City, there was a big war. Nearly all the Sabbat were killed or exiled. Well, nearly. About three packs remained. Some younger Sabbat who lurked in the clubs around the city, two-headed Zamichi and his many ghouls, and, well, our pack. Now, our pack at first consisted of four individuals. You have Raphael, the no-nonsense Lasombra, with a voice that'll give you goose pimples, and shadowy tentacles that will pluck your limbs off like so many feathers. He's the leader of the pack, runs an impressive crime family as well. Then we have Darla, the unnerving yet lovable Malkavian. She sometimes has attachment issues, but's quick to make someone her dinner if they fall out of her sphere of protection. Also in the business of crime in the big city. Then, of course, there's Darla, there's Trixie, the bruja with a passion for living life to its fullest. Of course, that includes riding on the roofs of cars, cracking heads with a crowbar, and all to the soundtrack of some loud music to get the blood flowing. Then we have Baxter Hammermeister. He was the gangrel shaman, the pack priest. He conducted all the Sabbat rituals for the pack when he wasn't using his claws to fish for brains up a poor soul's nostrils. So, after years in wait, the Archbishop finally gives the word for the Sabbat that have been waiting in the Big Apple to come out of hiding, gather for a night to remember. On Halloween, a Sabbat rite called the Palo Grande, which doesn't actually, but kind of means the Grand Ball. It's supposed to be this night of debauchery and historical reenactments to remind everyone what the Sabbat are all about. So our pack arrives at the meeting place to see some of the other packs. The Archbishop's nowhere to be found, though. One of the packs mentions having a nightclub ready for the festivities, just as requested by Raphael, although Raphael didn't order such any event. Soon became clear that whoever had called this little meeting, it wasn't any of the Sabbat. Next thing we know, former Black Hand, disguised as servants, unleash their blades. The pack fights their way out of the bloodbath, although most others were not so lucky. They had a choice to go to a club to stop whatever trap was waiting for the rest of the Sabbat, or go with this other pack to get a secret weapon. They decided to help their brother now. Head to the club, but they arrived too late. The Sabbat fledglings have all been massacred by some anarchs. So the pack battles a group of anarchs that are just like babies from a show called The Rugrats, apparently. Remember, it is a Halloween party. Raphael sends his tendrils down from the balcony. He plays with this anarch like an old doll before ripping him apart. Baxter gets his two claws in another to help it scratch an itch on the inside of their skull. Trixie's crawling around on the floor like a demon before bashing one in with her crowbar. And then, with one left, Darla gets inside their head, jumbles everything around, coaxes out information about what the hell was going on. Turns out there's a free-for-all blood hunt organized against the Sabbat. The Anarchs and the Camarilla were actually working together to flush them out. Even former Sabbat descended upon them for chance to diablerize some potent packs, such as the one in our story. Raphael and Darla received news of their soldiers and their criminal empires being simultaneously attacked by Camarilla, dismantling their mortal holdings. Who could organize such a thing? The answer, as Darla learned, was Donatello Giovanni. During the War of New York City, he turned a tidy prophet, playing all sides against each other and surprisingly living to see the end of things. He knew more about the Sabbat operations in the city and sat on that information until the time was right. now representing the Hakata, the last independent clan. He helped the Warren sects come together against a common enemy. Well, Darla squeezed that last bit of info, including that his haven was in the JFK airport, before ending that Anarch sap. They take the subway, and on the way, their little subway car turns into a butcher shop. Some ministry crones attempted an ambush. Pack's starting to feel their injuries after a night of fighting their way through New York City, but they have one last stop to make on their way out. Arriving at the airport, the pack confronts that dastardly Giovanni. While Baxter and Trixie dealt with the crowd of these shambling goons, Raphael and Darla got a confession, forcefully, out of Donatello, and, well, Darla did him the honor of draining him dry. But it seemed Donatello had stalled long enough for backup to arrive. Soldiers, ghouls, kindred flooding the location to get the last of the Sabbat. And that's when, remember that pack earlier with the secret weapon? They show up in the nick of time. That secret weapon they spoke of? Werewolves. As these lupines are tearing through ghouls and kindred alike, our pack leaves the chaos in this old stylish Camaro Raphael found in a parking lot. They get the hell out of the city, and they did finally meet with the Archbishop, who's actually, well, he learned too late of this plan to attack what was left of his people in the city. But he did learn about it thanks to yours truly, who tipped him off. You see, I am from the clan Samdi, Top Hat Boys. Technically, that makes me part of the Hikado, but I wasn't keen on the whole family reunion thing. So I found a group that was more open to let me do what I wanted. So I gave them some information against the Giovanni, in exchange for a ride with a pack of my own. Together, we got told a new mission from the Archbishop, one way down south in Texas. Well, you can see for yourself what happens next. Enjoy the ride, and remember, leave no kindred hungry.